Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
I did get a text. Somebody said, have Lyman name you 2 players on the men's soccer team.
I can't.
So why am I a bastard for watching the Guardians? By the way, the soccer team wasn't even playing. The men's team was not even playing.
Yeah, I'm just surprised.
You're yelling at me for not watching Norway.
I'm surprised, especially because it's very rare in today's society, especially with everything split up and there's so many different things you can do at any time. You can go on Netflix and watch any movie ever created, whatever, that it seems like the country is all in on something. This is one of those times. It seems like the country has rallied around how awesome it is to have the World Cup here. And then, oh, by the way, our team happens to be good. So I'm just surprised, like, it hasn't reeled you in to watch like those games yesterday. Those games were, I mean, one is a huge upset. Norway, there's so few people that live in Norway, yet they're beating Brazil. Their whole country is dwarfed by Rio in and of itself. And then last night, the Mexico match was incredible.
There's a few different reasons.
And no, I don't know any of the soccer players except Mbappe, Ronaldo, I mean, Messi. I don't know any of these guys.
My 3 reasons, as you say it, is the first reason I'm just going to be more interested in the Guardians playing. That's just simple. The second thing is that well, actually I have 4. I want to give proper respect to those who like. I'm not going to sit there. I think it's just as ridiculous for me to become uber Team USA soccer fan, act like I've been living and dying with this when I don't know any of the things that got them into the World Cup other than we're hosting it. I don't know any of that stuff.
I thought everybody was down on them in the lead up to the World Cup anyway.
But what I'm pointing is I don't know. All I knew was that the women's soccer team was really, really good and the men's soccer team wasn't so much. And when they were talking about the salary stuff, our argument against it, our conversation we had during the Women's World Cup was like, well, the women get paid less because they generate less money. And I'm going, how do they generate less money? They're clearly a better investment than the men's team, where I knew more about the women's team than I ever have about the men's team. That's as like close to the big argument that I got into. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that I just want to, like the soccer fans who are hardcore soccer fans, I don't want to drop in on their thing and act like I know what they're doing, because I don't. I don't want to be a fake as much as some people may think I would want to. No, I like America. Yes, obviously, fish in a barrel. And I hope that Team USA wins. And I'll watch it tonight, but I'm not going to, that doesn't mean I'm going to actively watch the other games or other matches while I got other sports I'm more interested in going on.
Well, would you care, because part of it is sizing up the competition, right? Would you care if, like, what the matchups are for the United States? Do you want them to have, like, a...
I don't know. I know that Belgium is good. And we got Flo. I can't even say his last name because I don't know the game. I don't know the players. So we got the one guy back because they pulled his red card. Thanks to the president,
yeah.
Which does seem to be a little bit of FIFA greasiness in so many ways, because the FIFA is known for the greasiness. But I'll take whatever I can get. So we put this guy back there on the field, and hopefully we'll get a big win today. Because I guess apparently if we don't win today, we're never going to hear the rest from the Belgians. We're never going to hear the end of it from the Belgians. So we got that going. And can I just share the third one? My family has been in this country for nearly 400 years. Mm-hmm. I don't have a grandmother from Italy or from Germany or from Norway or anything. Like, there are a lot of people who are like, yeah, I'm American, but you know what? My grandfather came off the boat from Scotland, and so we're rooting for Scotland, and they may play bagpipes and things, and that's cool, man. That's awesome. But I don't really share that because it's all stars and stripes over here, brother. That my family's just been from here for a long time. I don't really associate with anything else.
Are you Native American?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know.
What?
I was just trying to... I didn't realize your origin story was so embedded here.
Let me just ask you this. Let me throw it to everybody here. Let me throw it to everybody.
You know Elizabeth Warren, apparently.
Would you think it'd be very weird? Like my whole family tree is English and Irish, and that's it. The tests have been done. That's it. Same patch of islands. 400 years ago to now. My mom's side of the family, that was 200 years ago. They came from Ireland, right? If I were to be Mr. Irish, Mr. Irish flag, Mr. everything like that, when you go, wait a minute, don't you just say that they came over in like the 1600s? Like, wouldn't you think that'd be a little bit odd of me to do all of a sudden, since my family's, well, what's the statute of limitations for me being with the home country?
Yeah. I mean,
200 years to me seems to be a pretty far amount of time.
Yeah, and you didn't
I think
see
if my
me,
grandfather or grandparents came over, I think that might be some, but no, I can't.
Yeah, you didn't see me decked out in Croatian gear because I'm half Croatian, and of course Italy.
Well,
Italy
you're the
wasn't
Italian
even
man
in
of the
this
year.
thing.
You're a two-time Italian man of the year, back to back.
So, like, what do you do for the Olympics? Because I thought you get into the Olympics every year.
I watch a little bit of it. I'm entertained by the Winter Olympics. I'm entertained by the Summer Olympics, but I'm not. I don't think I've been Mr. I don't check the goal counts. I don't know very many things about it because I don't know many of the sports going into it. And if I don't know soccer very well, I'm not just going to drop everything I've been doing and act like I'm Mr. Soccer. I think that would come off very fake, would it not? It would.
I mean,
I pull for Team USA just like every American is pulling for Team USA tonight. But I'm not going to sit there and break it down and act like an expert.
Are you going to have the kids watch tonight?
I mean, they'll be up. If they want to watch, they want to watch.
Oh, so this hasn't reached the level of kids, we are going to watch this as a family.
No.
Would it take a World Cup championship? If they were playing for the championship, would that bring the Carmans in as a family?
They're just not. They're very disinterested in it.
Their friends aren't into this at all?
I mean, I'm sure their friends are, but I haven't talked to any of their friends. It's not football season yet.
Okay.
I won't get there till Monday, and then I'll ask them if they're really in on the World Cup. Hopefully, we'll still be in it. What's the championship on the 19th? Hopefully, we'll still be in it, and I can ask all those kids. I meet the buddies again, and I can figure it out. That's kind of where I'm at on that. But it's no disrespect to Team USA. It's no disrespect to the beautiful game. I'm trying to not disrespect it by not all of a sudden jumping in and acting like I'm King Soccer over here. That's wrong to me. Do you think LeBron's coming back? Now that is a transition.
I kind of think he is now, Kenny. After last week thinking he was not, I kind of think he is now.
Okay, why?
Well, first of all, the betting markets. That's the prediction markets. If you're a believer in that sort of thing, they've wildly swung in favor of Cleveland. But I part of it is I'm getting kind of reeled in because of the social media stuff, which I know people say be careful about that. This is LeBron.
That's the fun of it.
Doing his attention-seeking stuff. But you've seen him reunite with his Cavs teammates a few weeks ago, and now he's reuniting with his St. Vincent St. Mary teammates, his friends from back in Akron. He's hanging out at all the Akron places.
Club 330 he was at.
I know. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
I think it's the old Tangier.
Oh, is that really what it is? Okay.
I think that's what that building is.
Watching him just kind of chronicle, him back in town, and there's a lot of nostalgia that's setting in. Maybe I'm getting swept up in it a little too much, but I can't deny that's hard for me to now see him go, all right, Northeast Ohio, it's been fun. I'm going to go play for another basketball team.
I would happen to agree with you. There is someone there, and you're not gonna believe this. I mean, Rick Bucher has been known as kind of one of the big haters of LeBron over history. On the ball with Rick Bucher, here's what he says and why it makes sense for LeBron to go back to Cleveland. Now, this is not the best bedside manner, but what he does say does have several points.
The Rich Paul propaganda about contacting every team in the league to determine the interest in LeBron is just window dressing. If teams were interested, he wouldn't have to reach out to them. It's a sign that LeBron and Rich are struggling with the new reality, which is that LeBron simply isn't valued the way he once was. He does not have the leverage he once did, which is not an indictment. No one is going to invest in a player who is turning 42 years old next season and comes with all the outsized attention and servicing that LeBron does. The only place that makes any sense is for him to return to Cleveland, where it all began.
So while The bedside manner is terrible. To say those things about LeBron, at first, when I first saw it, I kind of went, what do you mean there's no market for him? And you go, well, okay, he is 42 years old. The drama thing with it, I don't necessarily like that. But when he says about what makes sense, it does kind of all fall into place going, yeah, I guess for those reasons it would make sense. Because, again, if he goes anywhere, he's going to be the center of every piece of attention. If he goes to a new team, he's the center of every bit of attention to that new team. All right? It's going to be very hard for him to be a passenger. He became a passenger over time with L.A., but it's going to be very hard for him to be a passenger, even if he wants to be. Even if he wants to be that shotgun position next to the driver of the car. It's still going to be difficult. And I go, man, Cleveland really is the best spot for him, not just because of me as a fan, but for what Rick Bucher says. Like, there's a lot of places where it's like, yeah, you're great, but what are they going to expect from you? With Cleveland, your greatness is already solidified. You are the icon. You are beloved. And there's very little more that you can do. But because there's very little more that you can do, it's kind of what makes Cleveland the best spot for him.
Well, I think he's a chameleon and could play with anybody.
I agree with you
I'm
there.
so surprised to hear so much about basketball fit. He's literally one of the smartest, if not the smartest basketball player I've ever seen. And one of the smartest in the history of the game. So, and we saw it. We have proof of concept last year with the Lakers. When there were times when he needed to be second or even third fiddle, he was that. And then come playoff time, when Luka was injured and when Reeves was injured, it's like, oh yeah, LeBron can win a playoff series at this age by himself, which is what he did, and get the role players involved. And it doesn't matter. It was a throwback to the man going back to the Boobie Gibson team, right? Like, it was such a throwback. And the fact that he could do that at this age was incredible. So I'm not worried about a basketball fit with LeBron. Like, yeah, in the regular season defense, like, yeah, you have issues, but the Cavs had some guys that were defensive issues last year, and they were just fine. Like, even with all the injuries, they still won 52 games. And over the last 20, James Harden was a perfect fit, even though I was told there were going to be all these fit issues with James Harden.
Weren't they like 17-6 down the stretch or something like that?
Yeah. Yes, and that's even with them, tanking the last game or whatever. So they were just fine. I think a lot of that is way, way overstated. I do think I got to disagree. Like, yes, it's not the same as the original LeBron sweepstakes and him taking meetings with all sorts of teams at the IMG building. Yeah, those days are over. But all these teams contending, including the Knicks, would take him if it was just a veteran minimum and you could sneak him in under the cap. They would all take him. Like, I think it's ridiculous to assume, like, LeBron comes with all this baggage and this drama. Like, guys, the Knicks would take LeBron tomorrow if it was just the veteran minimum. The Timberwolves would take him tomorrow. The Denver Nuggets would take him tomorrow. Like, go up and down. Like, Oklahoma City, who watched Chet Holmgren turn into a nothing in the Western Conference Finals. Yes, they would take LeBron tomorrow if it was just the veteran minimum.
What's the latest that Danny Cunningham has heard? Locked on Cavs, 92.3 The Fan. Danny Cunningham, he covers the Cavs. He's going to join us in 5 minutes on whether or not he believes LeBron will be coming back. And if he does, when will that announcement actually be made? Danny Cunningham coming up in 5 on The Fan.
July could make or break the Guardians season. Talk about the Guardians anytime you want. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
All right, it's time to bring in Danny Cunningham. He's on the Wise Heart Right, We Make a Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. We got to hear the very latest when it comes to LeBron. He's the host of Locked On Cavs, the Inside Shot on Substack, Cleveland Magazine, 92.3 The Fan. Hello, Danny.
Good morning. How are you?
Where's LeBron? I'm doing well. Where's LeBron going?
I think it's going to be Cleveland. I think a lot of things that have happened so far this offseason point in that direction. I don't think it's a done deal by any stretch of the imagination, but I think ultimately when this is all said and done, LeBron will probably be a member of the Cavs for the third and final time in his career.
All right, so when do you think he's going to be able to make that announcement?
I think if you want LeBron on the Cavs, I think this is a very big week, because I think if this continues to drag on and get deeper into Summer League, then I think you can start to feel a little uneasy about things. Because in a lot of the reporting, I know what Mark Stein and Jake Fisher said over the weekend, that it seems as if Cleveland is the scenario to beat, or at least that's how rival teams view it. I think if we get past this week, like if we get late into this week and we've not heard anything concrete, then I think it maybe starts to feel a little bit uneasy. But as of now, I think like if you're a Cavs fan and you want LeBron back, you should feel good. I don't know that there is a firm timeline as to when this is going to happen. I know that Rich Paul has said it's not going to be a quick thing. I've heard from some teams that think this is going to go into Summer League before we get a decision from LeBron. So I think obviously the sooner the better from a Cavs perspective if he's going to come back again. But I don't necessarily have a firm answer as to when we're going to hear about this.
It seems like some of the national people weighing in on this are talking about this being some horrible basketball fit, which I just never thought of LeBron James, as smart of a player as he is and a jack of all trades and still the master of many, is somehow a bad fit. What do you think of the fit with the Cavs?
I think it's fine. I think the way that the Cavs are being talked about nationally is kind of gotten insane, right? Like, would he be a really good fit in Denver from a basketball perspective? Yes. Him and Nikola Jokic would be incredible to watch play together. Would he be a good fit in Minnesota? Yeah, he would be. I think that fit's become a little bit overrated, but there is nothing wrong with the way that he would fit in Cleveland. And I also think that you need to look at this as is LeBron going to play on this Cavs team as currently constructed, or would the Cavs probably make some changes to fit the roster a little bit better around LeBron and Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and Evan Mobley? I think the latter is probably true. If they add LeBron, this is going to be a team that looks different. There's a reason the Cavs have not made a single move this offseason other than signing Thomas Bryant to a minimum contract. There's a reason for that. Because if they add LeBron to this team, there's a pathway that they need to go down to better this team and make them a championship contender. If LeBron decides he wants to play somewhere else, there's a different pathway that the Cavs probably need to go down in order to make themselves better and turn this current group into a true championship contender. I think both pathways are viable. I think the one with LeBron James is probably the better pathway, but I think that the basketball fits fine. Like LeBron and Donovan Mitchell, I think could be really, really good together. I think LeBron provides some of the playmaking with the basketball in his hands that Donovan Mitchell maybe lacks at times. I think LeBron and James Harden is something that will work a lot better than anyone thinks it could, because look at James Harden's career. He has played with a lot of guys that have needed the basketball in their hands, and it's worked out pretty well. I think having Evan Mobley on the floor with LeBron would alleviate some defensive concerns that a soon-to-be 42-year-old LeBron James would bring to the table. So I think that the basketball fit is a lot better than it's given credit for. And, like, this is the Cavs team that was in the conference finals 2 months ago, and they're being talked about as if there's some bottom feeder that has no hope of being in the playoffs. If they have LeBron, I think they are very clearly the second best team in the Eastern Conference right now, and it's wild that we've just forgotten because they had a bad series against the Knicks in which they were out of gas. It's wild that we've just kind of forgotten what the Cavs are capable of, and the fact that if they put LeBron on this team, they probably have, 4 top 35 players in the NBA in their starting lineup. Sounds pretty good to me.
Danny Cunningham joining us right now, talking some NBA. So this is what I think is going to happen if they get LeBron. I do think they're probably going to end up trading Jared Allen and trying to work a little more spacing into their offensive flow. What do you think happens?
I completely agree with that. I think that they wouldn't try and trade Jared Allen for a wing. Obviously, New Orleans has had a lot of interest in Jared Allen over the years. Is that somebody that they could trade to get Trey Murphy III in return? I think Trey Murphy's become a little bit overrated with what the Pelicans have reportedly been asking for in order to obtain his services on the trade market. But I think that they would need a little bit more shooting. I think that they would need somebody that is a good point of attack defender on the perimeter, because that is what this team is going to be missing. And losing Dean Wade in free agency is something that does hurt from that perspective. He was this team's best point of attack defender on the perimeter, so they do need to fill that hole, and that is not a hole that LeBron James is going to fill at this point in his career, should he come. So I do think that Jared Allen is the obvious guy that you look at. I think Dennis Schroeder probably will be moved. I think it's likely we see Max Strus moved. I think two of those guys probably get moved anyways to try and reshape this team, even if LeBron doesn't return. But I think if LeBron comes back, Jared Allen's the obvious answer, because you have to move something of consequence to get something back that is going to make this team better. Obviously, they're not going to trade Donovan Mitchell. They're not going to trade Evan Mobley. I think just naturally you go to Jared Allen and say, you know what, maybe it's just time. Maybe, and especially too, with what some centers have gone for on the open market, Jared Allen's contract, when he signed that extension, I looked at it and said, I don't know if this is going to age very well. And then I see what Walker Kessler got, and I think Jared Allen's a better player than Walker Kessler, and I think Jared Allen's contract's going to age just fine. I actually think he's probably a little bit more valuable on the trade market than he would have been, than I would have thought he would have been 12 months ago.
Danny Cunningham joining us on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Does it surprise you their unwillingness to move Evan Mobley?
No, because, and I think that when we saw OKC lose, and the first thing that came out was, man, the Thunder are interested in Evan Mobley. I think Sam Presti's pretty good at his job. And then we saw with Boston that Brad Stevens interested in Evan Mobley. And I don't necessarily know that I would put Brad Stevens as an executive in the same category as Sam Presti, but those are two front offices that I think have a lot of respect across the league. And the fact that both those teams were very interested in Evan Mobley, I think says a lot about who Evan Mobley is as a basketball player. And I think that we in Cleveland, because we're so close to the situation, I think sometimes that there are fans that can look at Evan Mobley and they see his faults first as opposed to what he's really good at. And I think, too, if you look at the type of bigs LeBron has had the most success with throughout his career, they've been athletic bigs that can protect the rim, that can do a lot of different things. And I also think, too, if Evan Mobley gets a little bit stronger and plays more of the five in a lineup that has LeBron James, I think that can be a really, really successful thing. And I think you could have some 5-out sets that work. If Evan can shoot the ball from beyond the arc the way that he did in the postseason, you look at what he can do defensively. I don't think it's a surprise. And truthfully speaking, I think that no matter what you think of Evan Mobley, Ken, or what I think of Evan Mobley, what Lima thinks of Evan Mobley, I think the Cavs probably are higher on Evan Mobley than any of us, than any fans out there, and maybe than any other teams out there. So I don't think it's surprising at all that they're resistant to moving him, because I think that they still believe he's going to be a perennial All-NBA type of player.
Do you believe, Danny Cunningham with us, that Evan Mobley, so you believe that, do you believe that he might have been a sticking point with Boston in a possible trade, or no?
I somewhat did, and then I saw what Jaylen Brown went for, and I thought, okay, there is no way Evan Mobley should have been on the table here. Like, if Jaylen Brown went for Paul George, Evan Mobley absolutely should not have been on the table. And obviously he wasn't, because if he was, Jaylen Brown would be on the Cavs. Like, you cannot tell me that Evan Mobley would have been available and the Celtics said, yeah, we'd rather have Paul George at 36 years old. So I don't think he was available. I don't think he's been available for anybody. And I also think that if he would have been available for somebody, it would have been Giannis. And I think that if he were available for Giannis, the Bucks probably would have taken that deal instead of what they got from Miami. So I don't think he's been available. I'm not surprised he's not been available, because, again, the Cavs are very, very high on him as a basketball player. And if it was a sticking point with Boston, I think the Cavs were wise to walk away, because Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, and James Harden, like that is really, it sounds good on paper, but the basketball fit is a little clunkier than it sounds on paper, despite how talented it is. So I think that not trading Evan Mobley for him would have been the right thing. Now, if they would have traded Jared Allen for him, and the basketball fit's still a little clunky, but it's a much better value because you're not giving up a guy that you think can be a perennial All-NBA player, that's a different story. But I think the Cavs were right to not make that move.
I got a good one for you. Kenny, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Do the Cavs have the right coach for LeBron James and the remainder of this team?
I wrote that down. Did
you really?
Yeah.
All right, Danny, let's hear it.
Go ahead.
Do they have the
Danny.
right coach? This guy any good?
I think it's something. That's a very good question. I don't think that you know the answer until you see it happen.
Oh,
What I
come
will
on,
say-
Danny.
No, we need to know
Come
now.
on, we want to know now.
We know
Danny,
now. Who
damning
cares
opinion
later?
now.
No,
Let's
let
go.
me go through this.
No, now.
So
Now.
Kenny Atkinson obviously has his faults as a coach. And I think that the comments about being analytically up in the series against the Knicks, there were a lot of eyeballs rolled across the league. I think that it rubbed some people the wrong way across the league. But I also do think, too, he's grown as a coach. And the fact that he has coached a lot of different stars with varying degrees of success has at least prepared him to be in this situation. Whether or not he's the right coach, the wrong coach, how adaptable. Like, I do think he's been an adaptable coach to some extent. The fact that I think they had a lot of success with James Harden is a good thing. They've had a lot of success with Donovan Mitchell. That's a good thing. And I almost can say the fact that it went wrong in Detroit, or not in Detroit, in Brooklyn, is something that I do think could be something he has learned from. And I also think that at this point, like, if you land LeBron James, you're not going to fire Kenny Atkinson for him. Now, maybe it goes poorly and there's a change made in the middle of the season. We have seen LeBron and we have seen the Cavs navigate that pretty well. So I do think that this is something where I don't know whether or not they do, but I do think some of the experiences that Kenny Atkinson has had coaching Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, I think that does give him a chance to be the right coach.
Danny, this is more of just a larger NBA question. All the analytic talk when our head coach said what he said during the Eastern Conference Finals, he got widely mocked, and now the stuff about Jaylen Brown, who was an MVP candidate last year, who some people feel apparently not one of the top 6 players or whatever on the Boston Celtics. Where do you weigh in on this? Because I know on a lot of your content, you talk about analytics. It scares some people away, especially Browns fans. Where do you end up on this?
They definitely matter, and they have definitely shaped the way the NBA looks. Like, if you pull up a shot chart right now, it looks very different than just because this guy is, the point of conversation right now. Go look at a team's average shot chart from when LeBron entered the league compared to what it is right now. That's analytics. The fact that the mid-range jumper is a lost art, that's analytics. But I do think, too, there have been some times where teams have leaned in a little bit too far to it. I think you can look at the Houston Rockets with James Harden as a bit of an example with that, where they only ever took shots at the rim or from beyond the three-point arc. And what you get is 27 consecutive missed threes in a Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors with a chance to go to the NBA Finals on the line. So I think that you have to have and the same is true here with the Cavs or any NBA team as it is the Browns, as it is the Guardians. Analytics, whether you like them or not, are used in every single sport, and they're going to be used in every single sport forever. And I think that sports and teams have become smarter because they use them. But I think the best teams are the ones that use that information, but also say, no, this is to figure out what we are best at as a group. That's what the best teams do, because there are some players and some teams where they're best because they can use the mid-range jump shot as an effective weapon. Go look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's won back-to-back MVPs. He lives in the mid-range, and you want that because he's really, really good at it. But what you don't want is players that are just average at it doing that, because that is not a very worthwhile shot. So I think it's something that you have to use, but I think you have to use with a grain of salt. Like something that works analytically for one team doesn't work for another team. So I do think that there are some teams out there that have leaned in a little too far to them, but I think that they are a necessary part of figuring out how you can get the most out of a group.
Danny, you're absolutely tremendous. We thank you very much. We got a lot out of this. Okay?
I'm glad to hear that.
I want you to know that. And we appreciate your time and your candor, Danny. Thank you so much.
You two have a great day.
Danny doesn't believe a word I'm saying, and I absolutely mean it, because I think you asked a question that a lot of people are thinking. You remember the last time LeBron came back. David Blatt was dead in the water. Is Kenny Atkinson going to be that way if LeBron decides to come back this week or next week or as soon as possible? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Lima likes it 8:45 on the Fan.
Hey, everybody. Andy Baskin for FanDuel.
855-YOU-ARE-GENIUS. See website for details.
LeBron watches on.
And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to...
Could he make another return to Cleveland? We are the place for all the latest NBA news and rumors. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Tone got busted open during the break, so he had to run out. He took it the hard way. You okay over there?
You're picking a whitehead long enough.
Oh, no, don't say that.
That's what happened.
They're eating their breakfast on YouTube.
Oh, boy.
Oh, gosh. So Tone got busted open, but here is the good stuff from Danny Cunningham. Where Lima beat me to it. I wrote it down on the sheet. Lima asked the question that a lot of people are thinking, but didn't really say out loud about, hey, if LeBron comes back, you know, the guy that keeps getting made fun of on the internet for saying analytically we're up 2-1 in the series, is that guy really the right coach for LeBron James? Here's Danny Cunningham on the question.
He's grown as a coach, and the fact that he has coached a lot of different stars with varying degrees of success has at least prepared him to be in this situation. Whether or not he's the right coach, the wrong coach, how adaptable. Like, I do think he's been an adaptable coach to some extent. I think they had a lot of success with James Harden. It's a good thing. They've had a lot of success with Donovan Mitchell. That's a good thing. I almost can say the fact that it went wrong in Detroit, or not in Detroit, in Brooklyn, is something that I do think could be something he has learned from. At this point, like, if you land LeBron James, you're not going to fire Kenny Atkinson for him. Now, maybe it goes poorly and there's a change made in the middle of the season. We have seen LeBron and we have seen the Cavs navigate that pretty well. So I do think that this is something where I don't know whether or not they do, but I do think some of the experiences that Kenny Atkinson has had coaching Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, I think that does give him a chance to be the right coach.
All right, so he's got a chance to be the right coach, not he is the right coach.
I'm a little nervous about this guy. Okay, so
are you?
Now, okay, we're being presumptuous because we're having an argument about whether or not a coach can coach a team with a player that we don't have yet. So I understand this could look very dated and it'll be silly and we'll get emails there. Hey, remember you guys did that segment about this. But I'm just going by the prediction markets, and they all think that LeBron, plus my gut feeling, and I think your gut feeling matches that, and most of Cleveland right now. That's what everybody wanted to talk about over the last weekend. That's what everybody in my life wanted to talk about was LeBron. What did we all say about the change that was needed after they won the championship? What did we all say about the difference between Ty Lue and David Blatt? And I never thought David Blatt was some terrible coach. I mean, you know, there was an embarrassment.
I mean, Ty Lue
in a situation against the Bulls
did come with a pedigree, and Ty Lue, as a former player, was able to call out LeBron, and LeBron, okay, I hit something here. He called out LeBron, and he was well within his right to do so because he was a former player, and he played with Kobe. He was incredible. He was on incredible teams, I should say. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you about Kenny Atkinson.
Player. Ty Lue was a good player.
Kenny Atkinson is regarded as a player's coach in that he is receptive to them. He talks so much about James Harden was leading practices in ballrooms, right? And Jared Allen, what was it? We should get the ball to Jared Allen in big moments.
I think he was trying to tell a nice little anecdote, whatever.
I know, and I didn't jump on him for that. But he has never struck me as, guys, we are going to do it this way when it needs to be done this way. Now, Mike Brown just won a championship, and he's like the ultimate nice guy, players coach, delegator. Mm-hmm. So there are different ways to do this. But when LeBron James is on your team, and James Harden is on your team, and Donovan Mitchell is on your team, okay, that's three guys who are all Hall of Famers, right? And one of which is one of the best to ever do it.
That's true.
James Harden is going to go down in history in some bad ways, but in a lot of good ways for his productivity over a lengthy NBA career where he's going to have so many of these achievements in not just the regular season, his playoff numbers.
That's true.
You add up his scoring, his assists, his minutes, his games. Like, are these guys, did they need a player's coach or do they need a coach who's going to be able to pull out some game film in an Eastern Conference Finals and say, that's not cool. What are you guys doing there? That necessitates a switch. You need to get back. Like, they clearly weren't listening to Kenny Atkinson in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they kept Kenny Atkinson.
Well,
They didn't think he was.
You know that can be a problem because Kenny Atkinson has to have LeBron's respect. Now, people might take that the wrong way. LeBron's been around for 20-plus years in this league. He's seen it all. So not just any idiot is going to be able to get his respect. And honestly, neither should any idiot be able to get his respect, frankly. Just because I know that LeBron has a certain connotation to some of the listeners out there. Oh, here we go. No. I mean, we've seen it where a basketball coach who he just flatly did not respect. We've seen how that's gone, and we've seen what it's been like with coaches he did respect. Now, I do think that Eric Spoelstra could have been a disaster had it not been for Dwayne Wade because of the threat of Pat Riley coming down. Now, that's a basketball coach that everybody would respect, but also is known as one of the king hard asses in NBA history that LeBron did not want to play for. Now, this situation, Kenny Atkinson is obviously not king hard ass, but if you're bringing up that the current team did not necessarily pay attention to what he was saying, how do you put it? Because disrespect's a strong word. Do you believe that they disrespected Kenny Atkinson during the Eastern Conference Finals? Because if you did, that's a hell of a word. And I think that a lot of people just go get rid of Kenny Atkinson, you find another coach, bring in LeBron. Hell, a lot of people thought that Kenny would get fired at the end of the season anyway after what transpired.
I did. I was sitting there doing a show, our wrap-up show on the season, going, guys, I expect him to be out of a job by noon. And then the release came out later that day. Like the reporters came out later that day. They're like, he's not going anywhere. So it's not that I think Kenny Atkinson was some massive problem. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. They threw a wrench into the whole season that was littered with injuries by saying, hey, here's one of the highest usage guys in NBA history.
Yeah.
You go figure it out. And by almost any standard, they did figure it out.
But, Tone, we got people on hold, and I can't just go, well, should Kenny Atkinson be the coach if LeBron? Like, nobody's going to say yes. It's just get another coach. Who cares? Because, I mean, part of it is the NBA, and there's about 2 coaches now that people are like, well, that guy's pretty hard to fire. He's a very good coach. Spoelstra now, ironically, after what was said at the beginning, all that, is one of them. And there's probably 1 or 2 more that I can't think of right off the top of my head. Other than that, that's an unfair question. Like, I would like to give Kenny that crack at it, but we don't have much time. Like when LeBron came back the first time, it's like you thought you either had the rest of his career or his contract to get something done with the Cavs. I may have 1 year. And if you're telling me that these guys aren't really paying attention during the Eastern Conference Finals, we're always way closer to the start of the regular basketball season than we think. I mean, good God, they're going to camp in September now. I mean, that's just a couple of months away, guys. Do you fire a coach and then hire a new one just because you were able to sign LeBron? I don't think LeBron wants to be known as that. I mean, he's always tried, whether it's true or not, he's always tried to avoid the coach killer label. That's always been safe for Kyrie. That was never a thing with him, or a thing he wanted to even lean into or have anything out there about it. So this is actually, you're going to have to do some careful maneuvering here. There is another question about Evan Mobley that I want to bring up. Also, just fireworks safety, Lima asked me about. It's all coming up on The Fan.
Odyssey app. Headline Sports News every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Summer's here, and Brown's training camp is just around the corner. Stay locked in with The Fan all summer long.
The Fan looking for a winner. Enter the code word SHINE. We have a Connie here, Tone. The word is SHINE. 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 Is he still in jail?
Oh.
Shine?
I think
I
so.
liked Shine back in the day. Well, it was with a Y, right?
Was that the one
Shine
where
was with a Y.
Oh, is it the...
Skip it. I don't think that was him singing that part.
No. I don't think so either.
Enter the code word SHINE, SHINE, shine at 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. for your chance to win a $50 gift card to Blue Falls Car Wash, where this week only free washes at the Blue Falls Car Wash, North Canton location only. Yeah, Blue Falls Car Wash. There you go. It's all brought to you by Blue Falls Car Wash and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. Again, the word SHINE, SHINE. Enter it at 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. Good luck. You asked me, I set off fireworks, as I do, as I'm wont to do, over the weekend, and I said I did burn my finger a little bit on the lighter because she gets me these candle lighters. They're good for like 2 flicks, and then that's it. I don't understand the point of the candle lighter. It sucks. So I kept my Bic on me. I got the candle lighter. It lasted again about 2 flicks, and then that was it. So I threw that away in frustration. Brought out my Bic because Bic lighters are basically like Bic pens. You remember the old commercial for Bic pens? You just go, "Dear Bic, you won't believe this."
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
yeah.
breaking out, like there was Frankenstein breaking out of ice and things like that. Worked every time, but I was a little bit close and I burned my finger a little bit. And Lima's like, "Okay, you asked me. I've been doing this for years and years and years. I have probably set off fireworks, explosives of some sort. 25, 30, almost 30 years.
And that doesn't count when you would, go through the neighborhood where you grew up and blow up some mailboxes.
I never did that.
Oh, that was us. I'm sorry.
I had a buddy actually throw it in someone's front door. I was like, that's over the line, buddy.
Little bit.
I was not willing to do that.
That'll get him jumping off the sofa.
Back in the day, you used to just think, oh, man, he threw it in there, and you could see her running across and, like, the silhouette going across. It was amazing. Not that I condone that sort of thing. I don't. But, I mean, the visual is something I'll never forget. And you would ask me, what did you ask me?
So it sounds like
we'll
an
get to
obvious...
the Cavs here in a second. They ain't going nowhere.
It sounds like an obvious thing, but... And I know we've had famous examples and, athletes. Jason Pierre-Paul was one of them.
Yeah.
How do you not blow your hand off? Who are the people that are doing that then? To me, it's operator error. Is that, either the wick gets cut somehow, you try to light it with too short a wick, you're sitting there holding it for too long. I mean, you had the one situation, tragically, the one guy, usually you're drunk, okay? It's 4th of July weekend. It's been an all-day fest.
The one guy put the mortar on top of his head, was like, yeah, I'm going to shoot it out of my head. It's just you do dumb things.
Oh, my God.
And you don't realize it, like, listen, anything on the edge of safety has to be safely handled. Anything that can be dangerous needs to be handled with care, including fireworks. And I don't understand how, because it's something bad. If I'm just firing them off, I'm not going to sit there and guarantee nothing bad's ever going to happen because it's me, right? And so I can't guarantee it, but I can guarantee I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they're fired off safely.
And it was so hot and dry, right?
Yes.
So people were worried about whether fireworks would be canceled.
If it weren't for the storms that happened, there was a late night storm on Friday night, and then there was some rain on Thursday, or on Saturday. If it weren't for those, I told the neighborhood, I was like, I'm not signing these things off. We're too close to the woods. It's hotter than a bastard outside. It's dry. I'm not risking it. I ain't setting the things off. So then it rained really hard, and I went, okay, we can set them off.
You're in the clear.
We should be in the clear. And everything went off well. And my buddy Art got me set up with it, so they were like straight up in the air, and they were great. And the pictures that the neighbor down the street, Stacy, took were excellent.
Amazing. Your
kids all liked it.
Kids were in wonderment.
It looked like a Norman Rockwell painting. It was really cool. I didn't see it because I was right underneath it, setting them off, making sure nothing terrible happens.
I've gone after Ken in this very show about not getting his kids
being a bad
acclimated
father. He's
to
told me I'm a bad father.
Both trains and then also soccer. But in this case, I saw the picture. It really was. You're exactly right. It was like Americana, watching your kids in wonderment, staring into the sky, and it looked like an awesome, awesome show. So, Kenny, I want to go to one of these. I do want to go.
Come on over.
I want to light one with you. Would you trust me to light one with you?
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not going to do the Terry in the wheelchair
thing.
Put
it in reverse, Terry.
Poor Terry, who was in a parade. They had him in a parade over the weekend.
So listen, it's just something bad can happen. So I'm not going to sit there and guarantee nothing bad could happen because you watch. I'm going to come in with no thumb next year, and then the old Ken was talking tough last year. So I'm not going to say that. Bad things can happen. They can. But you do everything you can to mitigate that. So you want somebody who isn't over the legal limit setting off the fireworks, things like that. That's just what you do. So, yeah, I am a little bit surprised. Like the Jason Pierre-Paul thing that happened, I go, oh, my God, I can't believe he did that. And I got a buddy who just texted me. He said his friend got maimed over the weekend.
Whoa,
be
seriously?
Careful. Yeah, just as best you can. Best you can. I don't know. I'm starting to get. I'm getting a little too old, and it's gotten a bit too hot.
Well, and they're going to want it. They're going to want it bigger and better next year. That's the whole thing.
How much longer do I have?
Right. What are you in your prime? Are you in your fireworks?
I think I'm coming out of my fireworks prime. They said it was the best I've ever done.
So see, now they're appealing to your ego now.
Yeah, just got to be careful. All right, are you ready for the LeBron stuff again? Because I think you asked a hell of a question. I wish I would have been able to ask it. I wrote it down about Kenny Atkinson being the right coach for LeBron.
Yeah, if LeBron decides later today or tomorrow, I know there were staffers that thought it was going down yesterday. If it happens over the next few days, we're gonna have a lot of questions about fit. Is Jared Allen getting traded?
Yes.
What's the deal with Strus? But also, what's the coaching situation?
It's an impossible question to ask the fans, because if it was almost any other sport, especially, well, you know what? If it were football, baseball, I think people take it the same way. If it were football, people make decisions based on coaches and not on players. Like you and I have had that argument of giving up a first-round pick for a coach. And I've told you are insane. I'm never giving up a first-round pick for a coach. I think I can find – no, I'm not going to find another Sean Payton. Sean Payton's already there, and he's proven to be an excellent head coach. As much as I don't want to admit it, you were right in that argument. But I'm not giving up first-round picks for Sean McVay or any of the top coaches that I think are great. I might give up 2nd through 7, but I'm not giving up that type of capital for a coach. And I think that that's the only place where coaches are seen as that dramatically important, at least in the sports that we care about, right? I think in basketball, if I just ask, hey, would you get rid of Kenny Atkinson to get LeBron? I don't think it's a question worth asking. I think 99 out of 100 people, and the only people who wouldn't is Kenny Atkinson himself, would give up Kenny Atkinson for LeBron James. But I do think it's a worthwhile wonder going, if you do bring back LeBron, because LeBron's not going to sit there and make his decision or publicly make his decision based on the coach. He doesn't want that reputation as a coach killer. He's tried to stay away from it for 20-plus years. He's going to try to stay away from it here at the very end. That's true. But do you believe that he'd be the right coach for LeBron? I think is a question that can be brought up, because you can't just have, because I think a lot of people look at players coach, and before this last postseason, Anthony, I think a lot of folks like Kenny Atkinson. Players coach was a good thing. I think people look at players coach in a different way now. I think that they think that Kenny Atkinson just gets walked over by these guys. It's just an upsetting thing to say, and is unfair. But you know, when you're telling me that, they were kind of going and doing their own thing during the Eastern Conference Finals, okay, are you a player's coach, or are you just a guy that gets walked over by Donovan and all these other fellas? Because remember, during that, while things were going bad, you started hearing the rumors about, well, they really wanted James Borregio anyway. Like Nick was bringing that up. Everybody was bringing that up.
Yeah, it was hard to stomach, though, watching Kenny Atkinson go on national TV and say, it's about getting back on defense, and we really worked on it. and then 2 plays in to the next game, they're not getting back on defense again.
Yeah.
And it's a team-wide thing. And I know they were out of gas, and the people do not want to hear excuses, but it was pretty clear the 14 games to get to the Eastern Conference Finals definitely wore on them. But it just seemed like you would have expected at least like 5 minutes of getting back on defense to start the game. Not, we just threw away everything that was told to us. Yeah. Look, I'm not saying letting the players off the hook, but could a better coach have gotten through to them a little bit better, or a different type of a coach, I should say?
I think that's something that people are going to wonder, especially if you are able to bring in LeBron. Let me get to Diane in Brooklyn. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Diane.
Hi, I called you guys the other day. Remember me?
I remember well because I remember not to say Brooklyn, New York, because I thought you were calling from Brooklyn, New York. No, you're calling from Brooklyn here in Cleveland. Go ahead, Diane.
Okay, well, do you guys remember when LeBron came back to Cleveland from Miami? Do you remember what the date was?
I don't remember. No, I do not remember the date. Lima might remember. He was on live when that was going on. Do you remember the date?
Wasn't it 7-Eleven?
Is that what it was?
No, it was July 11th.
That's 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think he's going to announce it on July 11th.
I got to wait 5 more days for this day. I got to wait till Saturday. He's going to do it on a Saturday night?
This is just my prediction. I mean, LeBron's always calculated in everything he does and his dates and everything. So I think it's going to be on the 11th. And as to whether he's coming back or not, has anyone brought up about the tribute that was done for him when he was here the last time he played down at Rocket Arena? Do you guys remember that tribute where he was bawling his eyes out?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever seen LeBron get that emotional at a game?
I do remember that seemed like that meant a lot
Diane,
to him.
Thank you very much for the call.
He's obviously become the NBA's all-time scoring leader. He's got all these playoff records. That day that moment in time did seem to tug at the heartstrings and get him emotional in a way that nothing else has in his entire career.
All right, if you're on hold, stay there. I want to get to you guys. And are the Cavs being too stubborn about Evan Mobley? And I might need some help from soccer fans to explain it, because when I hear about FIFA changing things over, I always feel, oh, God, that's been the history of FIFA, has it not been? I need you soccer people to correct me on this before I go shooting my mouth off. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app.
All right, real estate.
minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
Lima Likes coming up in just over 20 minutes. 216-474-0092. Joe Varden of The Athletic. He was on with Daryl Ryder and Lance Riesland yesterday as they are on Sundays. Daryl off for the next 2 weeks, though. Congratulations to Daryl on all his success. Should we go egg his house?
I was going to say.
Give him something to do?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Blow up his mailbox.
All right. Well, wouldn't go that far, but.
It was a different time.
Tampering with mailboxes is a federal offense.
It is. So it's amazing how we got away with so much when we were younger.
Here is Joe yesterday with Daryl and Lance about the Cavs being a fit. Why? Well, because LeBron has people he shares something in common with.
One thing I do like about Cleveland as a fit for him that nobody's talking about. On this team, there are contemporaries. Now, yes, he would have that in Golden State as well. And that would be reason one why he would go to San Francisco, because Steph Curry and Draymond Green are actual contemporaries of his. But the same can be said here in Cleveland. Like, James Harden is going to be 37. They have been in the league together for a long time. They actually know each other. Like, they can relate in a way that, like, LeBron can't really do that in Dallas, Minnesota. I know he played with Ant in the Olympics, but there's still a huge age difference there. And you name a couple of the other teams, like, it's not the same. He's contemporaries with James. He knows Donovan well. And then, of course, all the other ties that have been mentioned and didn't even need to be mentioned because we all know them anyway. So I do think that is a reason for him to pick Cleveland that doesn't get discussed as much.
Hear more of that interview, 923thefan.com. Joe's fantastic. We had him last week. I'm glad Daryl and Lance were able to run him down yesterday. You hear what Joe Varden says. He did not mention, now he mentioned some of the guys who obviously have history. I mean, again, James Harden is 37 years old. What about Mobley, though? Because I wondered, are we too much with Mobley? But then, with Boston being a team that we heard was interested in him, we heard Oklahoma City was a team that was interested in Evan Mobley. You have two champions over the last 8 years that are familiar with him and have been teams that have been very strong with their draft picks and holding on to their draft picks, almost obsessed by that thought. And they wanted Evan Mobley with them. And whether or not that gave me pause of it. The reason I bring this up, Tone, is that I thought that they were almost too tunnel vision on Evan Mobley. I thought he had a good postseason, though. Do you think that they're on the cusp of something special with him, and that's why they need to hold on to him? And do you think LeBron might be a part of that thinking?
Wow. There's a lot there.
There's a hell of a lot of it there.
With Evan, I feel like...
Because Rich Paul was on that pod, and he's like, nope, they ain't getting rid of Evan Mobley. That ain't happening.
And pretty clearly, just the Cavs have been tight-lipped. Or I shouldn't even say tight-lipped. That's wrong. That's inaccurate. They have been staunchly, publicly supporting him in every way. So I think it's pretty telling. Like, sometimes I just don't believe teams, but I kind of do also, just considering all the reporting that's been done.
No team should probably have 100%. I mean, we did just go through a Myles Garrett trade, and they were saying Cleveland it can't. I mean, everything's true until it's no longer true.
100%. Yeah. With Mobley, I've changed my mind a bunch of times, and I found myself changing my mind on him in the playoffs because there were times in the playoffs where I was like, holy cow, he is just walking into three-point shots now with confidence. He, at times, has been putting just offensive players in a straitjacket defensively, and we know how the switchability is huge with him and contesting at the rim. And then there would be games where I'm like, did Evan Mobley play in that half? So he's still not nearly a finished product. This year he's going to be 25. He's got so many good years ahead of him. The question is, what is the trajectory? How fast can he make up some of the stuff that I think has been missing from his game? And is he going to be able to do it while Donovan Mitchell is still in that prime? Some people think he's already starting to fall out of his prime. And, there was also a game where Donovan Mitchell had 39 points and a half. So I just need this. I just need this to really reach a crescendo right now.
Do you think he's the type of player that excites LeBron and LeBron would like to play with him at 25 years old?
Yes, I do.
Why did it take you so long to answer that question?
I don't think he's not Wemby. Okay, he's not in that category. I don't even know.
Well, he doesn't have the chance really to play with Wemby. I mean, I guess they could probably finagle some things, but I don't think anybody's really interested.
I don't think he's Cade Cunningham either. But he's a very unique player because defensively he can make up for a lot of mistakes. And, LeBron's not going to be a defensive player in the regular season. James Harden we've gone over his defensive issues, even though I think James Harden held his own against like forwards and wings and at times even centers. But guards, no, that's not James Harden's thing. Donovan Mitchell has defensive issues that we saw both in the regular season and the playoffs. So Evan makes up for a lot of that stuff. They need more. They need more of that. I do think LeBron could step up his game defensively. But the answer to your question is yes, I do think he could salivate at some of the things he could do with Mobley on the floor, on both ends.
216-474-0092. Let me get to Larry in Cleveland. You're first up on the Fan. Hello, Larry.
Thank you, yourself. I have to say, man, that I hope, man, LeBron make an announcement this week by the day, because, man, we need it's some, fellowship he need to do, and most of all, man, we need to, we got some unfinished business with New York. New York is the champs, no matter what, man. And then Mobley got to play in that paint, man. That paint is so important. That's the way we can win the championship, because that paint, man, we got dismantled the last two seasons with Mobley and Allen. They got pushed to halfway court. That's unacceptable, man.
But honestly, I think that's
and put Harden on the bench and come off the bench so we can have some type of some energy, man.
Lima, what were you going to say? Larry, thank you for the call.
Yeah,
what were you going to say?
I think we're dealing with some old narratives that I thought they dispelled in this year's playoffs. I think they showed that they had some toughness, and they did that by going up against teams that were considered way tougher than them. I remember, that's all I kept hearing. Cavs aren't going to like the Raptors at all. Raptors are going to out-tough them. Heard of Detroit. Detroit's going to push the Cavs around. Like, we had trouble with them. They both went 7 games, but in the end, what were they saying in Detroit? Like, we weren't tough enough.
No.
Toronto, their fans, we weren't tough enough. Mm-hmm. Cleveland pushed us around a little bit in that series.
Lima Legs coming up at 8:40. So I need soccer people to help me a little bit here. Again, I don't know much. Excuse my ignorance. I am asking legitimacy here. John.
Do we lose John in the soccer segment?
All right, Flo Balogun.
Yes.
That's his name?
Balogun.
Balogun?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's eligible to play tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Markoch, a couple others here, are saying that he may not still play. He may be held out of this game tonight. Is that it? Now, I'm just referencing a fan person, and maybe that's his opinion. Okay, I don't think that's a report.
I mean, Belgium is not happy. They are so not happy.
So what I'm asking here, do I risk international incident of sport with Belgium if they play Flo Balogun?
No, you play him. It reminds me of the commercial. Remember the commercial? They're playing.
FIFA's going to allow it. I play him, right?
Yeah, play him. It reminds me of the high school basketball commercial where it was like, "Coach, I touched it. Coach, I touched it." Like, no, you don't do that. This is sports. You take every advantage you can. U.S. is honestly probably at a disadvantage with Belgium.
Well, that was a PSA about doing the right thing.
Yeah,
there was also the one about the kid
thing.
who got caught drinking, which I don't know why you kick him off this team for the season, because what are you going to do if he has nothing but he doesn't have any basketball left to play? He's going to go right back to the hooch. But that's a conversation for another day, John.
I think that there's no reason that he shouldn't be playing tonight. Like, the red card rule was stupid. I didn't realize that was kind of uniform across all of soccer. Like,
I didn't know it either.
And I think they're partially doing this because of ratings and fan interest, right? If the most popular player on the team outside of Pulisic, and arguably Balogun is the most popular player on the team, regardless of Pulisic, like, if he can't play, if LeBron can't play for the Lakers or the Cavs or wherever he's going to go, if Mike Trout can't play for the Angels, if Aaron Judge can't play for the Yankees,
is he this
why are
good?
you watching?
Is he that good?
He has been in this World Cup. He scored a ton of goals.
Again, I'm asking. I have no idea. So I've seen a little bit of it. I don't know. It would make me feel a little bit better. I heard during one of the updates that is there somebody in England who had a red card, or did you mention the red
Yeah,
card?
I told you that somebody on. I didn't watch that game last night, but somebody on England did have a red card. So are they going to be suspended too? Or is that whole thing going to?
It would make me feel if another red card got rescinded, which again, it looked like it was incident. Are we talking about when he came down on the guy's ankle? Right? Is that right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
It looked like an accident. It didn't look to be a flagrant type of thing. And
You
so
would think
FIFA went back and looked
matter,
at it,
right?
Yeah. So I do. Yes, I do. I do think intent should matter. Yes, if it matters in professional basketball at the highest level of basketball, should it or should it not matter at the highest level of soccer? Does it not? I think that intent matters. I mean, there's such a thing as manslaughter, and then there's such a thing as murder, right? Like I don't think he attempted purposely to step on that guy's ankle.
No.
Now it looked. I know a lot of people say, floppers and things.
No,
It
not
looked
this
like
one.
a legitimate landing that really hurt. Okay, so I could sympathize with the guy who got hurt, but also not to the point where I would keep him out of the game. But also, I'm not passionate about the sport the way others are. So is this as big of an incident as some people are making it out to be? Because I'm just looking at what is supposed to be a really good soccer player. It seems that he is. I don't know. A really good soccer player that we get back for this game tonight.
The Belgium
match.
Belgium for sure. Good catch there, Kenny.
Thank you.
Sometimes I'm not on that. Clearly, they're going to make the attempt to argue this is home cooking, which, yeah, it's right now. We are the epicenter of soccer right now in the world. It's been a great story.
I'm fine with home cooking in game. I just don't want it to be home cooking outside of the game. Do you get what I'm pointing out here? Like if we got a couple of calls,
I don't care. If our president needed to make a call, I'm cool with it. Let's go.
But
if there need to be a negotiation behind the scenes,
listen,
I'm okay with it.
I don't blame him for calling FIFA because FIFA has a history there. So it's like, well, you might as well give him a call and see what you can get out of him. And sure as hell it worked. But I'm pointing it out. It would just be easier if it were just on the field instead of in boardrooms and things like that. Because John's mentioning ratings. It's like, yeah, it's going to be a ratings bonanza tonight because it's the United States. It's summer. It's the World Cup, for crying out loud. And Belgium, I don't know much about Belgium other than they seem to be pretty good at the soccer.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yeah. Well,
am I wrong, John?
So,
they're historically pretty good at the soccer.
They're pretty good up there. Yeah, they've won a couple, I think.
Okay.
Although, is it true that after he was reinstated that we are now a slight favorite? Has it changed? I thought I saw that, but
there's going to be an emotional tie into that. I mean, when Adam Banks came back to the Ducks, it was a big deal.
I am really excited about this match, and I can't name 3 players. I can name 2. So I don't know anything about this
I can
team.
name 1.
It's funny. There were past U.S. men's national teams where I felt like the guys were marketed
No, I was
way
literally going
better.
to say the same thing. Like, who Landon Donovan and Tim Howard are.
Yeah, for sure. Why is that? Why don't I know these guys, but they have a chance to really make
Landon
history?
Donovan doesn't play for him, does he?
Not anymore.
I was going to say, it's been a long time. I don't know. The other guys, I'm not really sure who they are, which is weird because this is the most successful they've been in quite a while. Have they not?
In a long time, yes.
Okay. You're watching tonight, you said.
I am. I'm pretty pumped. I tried to get my wife to get into it. She has not cared about this at all. We did have on yesterday as we were going back and forth with the Guardians game and the White Sox. We were going back and forth to what was pretty awesome matchup that was a big upset with Brazil going down to Norway.
And then you accuse me of being an ignorant slob for not wanting to, or for just watching the baseball and not watching the soccer.
You know what it is? It's so funny. Maybe it's the social media.
I have a lot of respect, but I can't just jump in on things I have no idea about.
Maybe it's the social media age. How you want to make sure at times it's a stupid thing and it shouldn't matter when people go over ratings and everything. But when you're watching something, you want other people to be watching it. And so I was kind of bummed because I thought I would come in today talking to Ken Carman to see that Ken actually was kind of bowled over by some soccer, like that you were going to get excited about it.
I will watch and get into, because I do think that there is, I can totally get, let me tell you it this way. I have a great deal of respect for soccer players and at the elite levels. It's obviously a very tough game to play. All right. And I can buy into the dramatics, the anticipation of a goal, getting close and not being able to get it through. I understand that. Like sport, I get. But I also think it would be very fake of me to not pay very close attention to soccer at all because of how I was raised, where I was raised, the whole thing. And then all of a sudden to be Mr. Team USA soccer man on the radio because they're in the middle of the World Cup. I think that would be very fraudulent, would it not be? Now, because I'm only going to go by what I know. I ended up watching Peacock yesterday, and I ended up watching the Guardians game, which I had several people thinking I was tweeting about the soccer game because when Gabby Arias hit a 3-run home run, I go, this is amazing. What a game we have here. And I'm like, no, I'm watching the Guardians. They're in the middle of a divisional race here against the Chicago White Sox of all teams, young, plucky, the whole deal. I was more bowled over by the baseball. I was not. I'm not going to. Guys, I don't really have. I understand that there's a good player, one good player who kind of looks like Wolf the Dennis Stanson from Norway. I don't know anything else. I know that the fans do the chants, and those are cool, and they do the rowing thing. That's pretty cool. But and no disrespect, but I'm not just going to jump in and act like an expert on something like this when I don't know any of it.
I think now's the time. The water's warm. Jump in. Get on the bandwagon.
The time was a couple of weeks ago when they were in the group stage.
Don't let me down.
The time's not now.
Don't let me down, gentlemen. I'm going to learn two more of your names tonight at least.
Do you expect do soccer fans who listen to us, the people who are like, hey, I like Cleveland sports, but I also like soccer, do they expect to tune in and hear me going over the finer points, which I don't know?
No.
Wouldn't I just make a total ass of myself?
They want us to make an ass of ourselves. They will make fun of us, sure. They're making fun of us over this conversation now because they were going to watch. They were, the diehards for years and years and years. Every time the World Cup happens, we used to bring on Neil Sika.
And you can still bring on Neil Sika.
Of Columbus
if
soccer.
They win tonight, you can bring him on. You bring on Dave Denholm if you want.
Do you
I don't care. Yes,
okay.
I'm perfectly fine with it. It's an olive branch. I'm not a Ted. No,
they're trying to get in.
The days of attacking soccer are done.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yes. All right, Rich, I can give you 30 seconds. Rich and Kent, go.
Hey, guys, I was just curious, do you think this is going to kind of put a little chip on the shoulder of Belgium, one, and then two, any calls that go for us or against Belgium is just really going to kind of turn everything upside down?
Good. You know what,
I agree
Rich?
with you. I agree with you. Thank you.
Let's get Tim Donaghy on the call. Let's get him.
The Belgians seem to be disgusted by this.
I don't care what we have to do. Let's let Brendan Sorsby bet on this. I don't care. Terry Rozier, whoever. Let's do whatever we need to do. I need this team to win at least one more game.
It
can't end tonight.
I haven't seen Belgium this up in arms since Bjorn Borg won Wimbledon, and he's not even Belgian.
He's not Flemish?
No, I think he's Swedish. 216-474-0092. Are you ready for Lima Likes?
Yes, let's
Lima
go.
Likes in 5 minutes on the Fan.
garage door open and turn up the fan. Spend the summer with your home for Cleveland Sports Talk. 92.3 The Fan.
Does Lima like or does Lima no like? Like?
Tell me likey. I'm liking it. I like it a lot.
No like.
He doesn't like you.
I don't like you either.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Like or no like. Like or no like.
But I definitely knew what I liked, and I definitely knew what I didn't like.
All right, a little up and down, obviously, over the weekend from the Guardians. But how about some good all-star news?
Lima Lake.
Not one, not two, but three Cleveland Guardians are heading to the All-Star game in Philadelphia. What is it, next week?
You going to mention who got robbed, though?
Well, I wanted to get to. We have Cade Smith.
Lima Lake.
Parker Messick.
Lima Lake.
And how about the rookie second baseman, Travis Bazzana? Pretty incredible, earning first-time bursts following their incredible first halves. In fact, to have rookies go to the All-Star game like this with Messick and Bazzana. But, Kenny, who got robbed?
Brian Rocchio.
Well, I wanted to get to that because
never mind.
We had a pretty tremendous start to the weekend on Friday, courtesy of Guardians TV.
Now Brian Rocchio with a fly ball to right field. Down the line it goes! Goodbye! Good night! Unbelievable!
So that was...
I think that was Thursday night.
Oh, sorry.
I think I got mixed up because of the holiday.
we weren't
I
on
didn't
the
make sure
air.
I wasn't
That's
mixed up
right.
because of the holiday, yeah.
Yeah, but pretty incredible. So it kind of stunks that they end up splitting the 4-game series. You're one back of the White Sox right now, but altogether, there's still two walk-offs to lead into it. Stunk that they end up losing the next two. You thought for sure they were going to win
Did you
the
hear the interview
series.
afterwards?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
So good.
Well, obviously it was...
Oh, what a man. I tell you, people have come full circle here in Cleveland about Brian Rocchio. I mean, when he made how he wants to play like Jose, everybody just laughed in his face a couple years ago. And now look at him. I mean, he's one of the guys that you count on in the lineup.
Yeah.
He's hitting almost anywhere you put him. I mean, what a ball player. What a fantastic year. He got robbed of being an all-star.
Should we make sure, unfortunately...
Lima no.
Sometimes, the good ones get away, but Junior Caminero had 11 home runs in 11 days. And we had been following this a little bit.
Well, yeah, because you can't
weekend.
help it because every time he hits a home run, someone sends it to us.
I know. And it's tough because obviously when the Browns, we had such a talent drain over the years that you weren't really worried about losing good players to other teams. Obviously, Baker Mayfield was somebody who we have been tracking and we'll still continue to track until we get a quarterback of our own to replace him. And in baseball, though, it's a little bit different. Do you sit there in anguish when somebody like Junior Caminero is doing what he is doing and going, oh, I can't believe I rue the day that we let him go?
No, because we've been a competitive team. Now, he would help us get over the hump, obviously, but because we've been competitive, if we were a 60-win baseball team, then, yeah, I think there'd be a few more people that are upset about it. But anytime he gets sent to me, and it's been getting sent a lot, I mean, he's had a hell of a season so far, I just always kind of like, yeah, I know it sucks, but that's the risk you have when you trade guys away for other things. Like, sucks. Got nothing against him. You couldn't get him now, but hopefully we learn our lesson.
He had 45 home runs last year.
Judas
right now,
Priest.
He is sitting on 26 home runs. He's batting .288. It's been just an incredible season, and he just seems to be getting better and better. He's 23 years old.
He's great.
I'll tell you what was maybe not so great, depending on who you talk to over the weekend.
Lima, no like.
Apparently, people none too happy with the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding. In fact, some on social media, many saying the whole experience was beneath her. This is a TikTok from one of the Swifties, Laura Kastner.
people who are getting mad that Taylor Swift's wedding is tacky are forgetting the fact that being a celebrity and having money doesn't automatically give you taste. And the fact that Taylor Swift has always been tacky. She's never had taste. I love her, but she has never worn a good outfit. She's just a girl who's really good at explaining her feelings and got really famous and really wealthy off of that. She is like an English class nerd. Like, picture your fellow English class nerd getting married. It's gonna be tacky. It just so happened to be tacky on a billionaire scale. Don't be mad.
So, okay, well, I'm not mad. In fact, a lot of Clevelanders
was it
attended
felt like it was tacky?
This event. Well, so it's at Madison Square Garden. I think a lot of people thought she would have either a destination wedding, a hillside retreat.
I'm sorry, are they getting married or is she getting married?
She's getting married.
Okay, so it's her wedding. So it's I'm making sure this is Taylor Swift's wedding.
Is it ever the groom's wedding?
I'm saying though, John, listen to me for a moment. It's not their wedding, but out of it. She can get married any way she wants with him, as long as they're happy together. If she did it at a courthouse with her dad with a shotgun to her husband's back, if that's the way she wanted it, then fine.
Well,
if they wanted to do it at Madison Square Garden or Rocket Arena or Lakeview Cemetery or wherever, it's their wedding. They can do whatever they want.
Now, you're not seeing very much in the way of images, video, because there were a lot of non-disclosures that were filled out. Phones, I don't know if they were taken away, but it seemed like most accepted, the constraints on the social media stuff. What'd you think of Adam Sandler officiating the wedding?
Thought that was interesting. I thought that was a fake story when I first read it. I didn't realize that was real when I first read it. I went, oh, who's saying Adam Sandler? But maybe they're all friends. I don't know.
Joe Hayden was there. We have some mutual friends. Joe over at Barley House.
I'm sure
was
Joe
there.
had a wonderful time. He can't tell us about it. I'm sure there's an NDAs, but still, I'm sure he had a wonderful time.
But it was interesting to see the reaction as I have a friend that works for Page Six that this was her job over the last month, was covering this wedding.
Well, again, it's her wedding, so they can have the wedding how they want to have the wedding. It's not up to who's this on TikTok.
Well, that was Laura Kastner, but
if I was Taylor Swift, well, first off, I don't know if I'd pay attention to it if I was Taylor Swift. Second of all, I'd be like, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
It's my wedding. You have my wedding how I want to have my wedding.
All right, that's it for Lima Lakes.
Outstanding.
If you attended the wedding and want to talk about it, and feel free to do so. Feel free to call us up.
Are they allowed to talk about it?
I don't know.
I'm sure it was filmed. You made a great comparison. You brought up the Chris Humphries.
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
And I go, oh my God, he's actually right. That's
they were married for a hot minute, right?
That is I think they were married for a month. Yeah. No, were they married for a year?
No, it couldn't have been a full year. Was it?
They weren't married for very long, but I know that was the most, other than this one, the most anticipated athlete wedding in the last 20 years was that wedding right there. I'm sure it was a fine affair.
Was Russell Wilson Sierra? Was that a big deal? I don't think it was.
I don't remember. I mean, my wife bought the Kim Kardashian Chris Humphries wedding years ago.
What do you mean bought it?
Like she still has it on our files on Amazon.
I didn't know that was something you could do.
Apparently it is.
I had other Kim Kardashian videos on my laptop at one point.
Take it to there, don't you? This isn't on the laptop. This is on 85 Inches of Brilliance from Extend Technologies, okay? Coming up in 5 minutes, the more time that goes by, the better I feel about LeBron coming on home. Do you feel the same way? Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Major news for the U.S. men's national team. Flo Balogun is officially cleared to play.
tour, then they would absolutely love that too. But they're open to pivoting and to acquiring someone from another team, trading for one, drafting for one, signing one as a free agent. That's what you do. If you don't have your guy, you turn over every stone and rock until you do find your guy.
Listen for Mary Kay Cabot from theplaindealerincleveland.com. Tuesday mornings at 11 on Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
Win a 4-pack of lawn tickets to see your choice of John Mellencamp, Thomas Rhett, Chicago with Styx, or Billy Idol at Blossom Music Center. Enter the code word REBEL by the end of the hour, REBEL, at 923thefan.com. Get registered to win courtesy of Live Nation, where for a limited time, buy 4 lawn tickets to select Blossom shows for $99 at blossommusic.com.
Outstanding as always. Good luck to everybody involved. The more time that goes by, are you feeling better that LeBron will be back?
Oddly, yes, even though people are telling me I should not be. So I don't know.
Why are they telling you no?
I don't know. Well, everybody in the national media, I don't know if this is what the kids call, is it wish casting? If they are just telling me I'm not allowed to be hopeful, but they're saying this is a terrible basketball fit for the Cavaliers and LeBron James, and that he should go to Minnesota.
I don't understand. You see, people
go to
keep
Philadelphia and hope that Joel Embiid can actually stay healthy for the playoffs.
I've loved that you've had this opinion here. One, I agree with you. Two, I think it's very smart because the fit conversation. Yeah, we are more concerned with fit than we've ever been. That's true. But on the same sentences, what do we know is fit anymore? What do we know is fit? There's been 8 champions in 8 years who playing 8 different brands of basketball. What the F is fit anymore? I'm dead serious, guys. What is it? Because LeBron, well, it doesn't fit. What is the fit? What is it? Like, there's no chance now with this new pseudo hard cap, because there's a second apron, so it's a hard cap. With this new hard cap, what is going to be the right perfect fit? There's no perfect basketball team. And it's made for parity. And we talk still in these absolutes, like we know what we're looking at, when the league has never been has not been this challenging in years and years and years. I don't know if it's ever been this challenging. Because if you go back through the history of the league, there's always been a dynasty somewhere. There's always been one. Give it a couple of years here, give or take. I don't know if there's ever been this many years in a row. I mean, I try to look back. Has there ever been this many years in a row where there's been different champions, other than maybe the infancy of the league? And even in the infancy of the league, probably not. Probably Boston was the one who won predominantly more championships than the others in the very infancy, and then obviously going into the later decades as well with the LA Lakers. Like, I don't know if there's ever been this much change. And really, I don't know if there's been this much change over in professional sports for a team. So who are we to say what fit is what? We don't know. You take the best basketball player in the history of the game over the last 20-plus years, and you bring him in, and you hope that there's going to be the right fit, but there's obviously going to be challenges that are involved there. So to bring up the fit, how do I know that Miami's going to be a better fit or Minnesota's going to be a better fit? Because you might like those players more. See, this is where I said, they mentioned wish casting. I think that you might have some of the members of the national media wish casting here. If this is a term that we're going to use for this segment, hopefully put away because I don't like the term. But if that's the way that people are thinking here, I brought this up before, and this is a very easy drumbeat, us against the world type of thing. I'm not trying to do it that way. I'm trying to be as pragmatic as possible and look at the way that they've treated Cleveland in the 4 years when LeBron came back, when you went to the finals every year. Now, by the time 2016 happened, there was less belly aching. But by the time by the first NBA Finals run and then the 2 after they won the championship, it calmed down after that a little bit, but there was still this, the national writers don't want to go to Cleveland. They made jokes when he went to L.A. At least they don't have to fly to Cleveland anymore. They don't like being here when it's cold. They're mostly West Coast, sunny weather people. That's mostly who they are. They're either West Coast or East Coast, all right? And so in New York's New York. Los Angeles is good weather. They can go and do whatever they want, go to the arena later on, and it's just kind of a cool vibe that they have. When you come to Cleveland, you are living in a fishbowl. And, yeah, it's the Midwest. Sports is what we have. It ain't the weather. We all got bad weather in the Midwest, so we all look forward to sports more than some of the other more than some of the other cities out there. And that's just always seemed to rub the NBA national media wrong. Plus, I mean, weather also has a factor to it as well.
What's
and
crazy
I just think that if we're talking real quick, I just think if we're talking wish casting, quote unquote, and they're kind of wishing that he doesn't come back. I think they're wishing he picks somewhere else. So one, they have a fresh story to write because a lot of this might be the same. And two, I don't think they want to come here.
Did they just forget, though, that the Cavs did win 2 playoff series and won 50-some games? And do they remember
I don't think that matters.
Did they
I don't
remember
think that matters to them.
Okay, anybody that is pining for them to go to Golden State, do they remember that Golden State went 37-45 this past year? That also, for all that they wanted to talk about James Harden, like, you seen Draymond Green lately? Does that seem like somebody that is ready to win a championship now, is like the best defensive player on your team at his age,
again,
with all the mileage on his body?
And that's why I put it, if he were from Sterling Heights, Michigan, I think they'd be saying the same thing about Detroit. I frankly, I got to tell you, I will throw Chicago in there, even with their rich history. I think if he were from Hinsdale, Illinois, I think they'd be saying the same thing about Chicago. Certainly Milwaukee, the same thing. I just think we all are a great big pile of snow to all those writers out there. And if you're not from here, you just don't get it. Like, people from the Midwest get it. But I think a person who really isn't from here is from either New York or the West Coast. They just see this as a place that they'd like to avoid during the wintertime.
Kenny, you're talking about all the stuff that,
But
like
I think
these
they're
guys
faking the reasons behind the fit, because I think that there's a questionable fit with every team that's there. Because you're not just, I will admit, I don't think they're the same dramatic reasons in the past, but you are taking on a entirely different animal in LeBron than you would be a lot of free agents.
It's just fine. I remember.
You got to admit that.
I remember Nick Wright, who came in studio with us during one of the NBA Finals runs. But I remember Nick Wright talking about how Kevin Durant was going to be a terrible fit with the Warriors. And I just think we overthink these things sometimes. Like, Nick Wright's a smart basketball guy. He gets the game. How could anybody think that just smart basketball players who are really good aren't going to just make stuff work? Like, I saw people say that James Harden
I worried about fit when it came to Jaylen Brown coming to Cleveland if they were to trade away Evan Mobley.
Yeah, sure. I always bank on guys just figuring it out that understand the sport. And James Harden was supposed to be a terrible fit with the Cavs also from some standpoints. I think it was mostly just Darius Garland fans hoping that he would be terrible. And then he had big playoff games and helped them get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, they hit a wall then, but as I said, there were 26 other teams would have loved to be as far as the Cavs, to get as far as the Cavs did last year. And I just think it's hard for me to envision a world where LeBron, who is a massive upgrade over Dean Wade, wouldn't help the Cavaliers, which was an obvious point of weakness last year. The wing position. What does LeBron play? Wing. I don't know. I think he'll probably be okay with that.
I would feel the same way. But also, I don't know any better, and I want him to come back. I really want him to come back. So I feel the same way, but I also know that there's going to be pitfalls. They're not just going to hand you the championship there. There's going to be challenges that they have to address. But I think it's the same thing with LeBron in any place he goes to. You go to Miami, I don't think that Bam Adebayo is the player that people want him to be after. I know he's a whole bunch of points and the whole thing. He's a good player. Bam Adebayo is a very fine player. Very fine player. I don't think he's in that stratosphere of where some people might want him to be because they want LeBron to go to Miami. I think what you just said about Golden State is right. I think that what a lot of people are saying about any of these other destinations, I just see Cleveland. I go, why is Cleveland such a bad fit compared to who else? What? Because we don't like James Harden that much? I get that the media does not like James Harden that much. All right, that's not lost on any of us. Donovan Mitchell has had a questionable postseason throughout his entire career, and it's become a calling card. Whether it's right or wrong, that's one of the stereotypes that go with him. Evan Mobley is a player that, yes, I think we've overrated to some degree because I was calling him the unicorn, but obviously he's still a fine player. Like, this is a team you can win a lot with. And I just keep going back to your point. When the Knicks traded for Karl Anthony Towns, I did not believe that was a move that was going to win a championship, and neither really did the rest of America, including Knicks fans. So we know less about what works and what doesn't in the NBA than really we ever have in our entire lives.
That's 100% true.
Because throughout history, we're going on a decade now, guys, of different champions. And before, we had a history of dynastic teams that you can make the comparison to. You had this team that was built in the image of the Golden State Warriors or the LA Lakers or the Chicago Bulls or the Boston Celtics. You don't have that now. So now we're just kind of grasping at straws because we don't know what this league's going to be year to year to year. You have difference in salaries that are about to take off. You have a fit issue, and now you have a strong salary cap, which you've never really had, and now you have to make all this work. So I think it may just come down to, and maybe I'm guilty of this myself when it came to the Jaylen Brown thing. Maybe I should just revert back to, hey, just get the talent and make sure that it all fits within the salary cap. Get them out there on the floor and get the thing to work. Maybe I was overthinking it myself.
Now, we did have Danny Cunningham earlier and talked about Jared Allen could potentially be on the move. And it's not because Jared Allen's not a good basketball player. It's not that he hasn't been helpful. He was massive in 2 Game 7s, right?
Yeah.
In the first and second round. But you are trying to kind of retool here, right? You're trying to figure out a team that has the best fit around a team that would have Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and LeBron James, and Evan Mobley. And he is somebody that's valuable. You could get, talented player or players for Jared Allen to help beef up your overall roster. So it's just something to keep your eye on. It's not that, we're waving the white flag that Jared Allen's not some good player. I do think they've had...
No, you're going to have to give up something significant to be able to make this work.
I think you've had structural problems with Allen and Mobley playing together that I do think over time you'd have to be blind not to see it or to admit that in this day and age in the NBA, it doesn't really make sense to have two bigs who are not real playmakers and not...
I agree.
You don't have to guard either of them outside.
I don't want to. I like them both.
We wonder why our screen and roll game goes south in the postseason. Well, that's a big part of it. You don't have to honor those guys outside.
Folks, every Cavs conversation brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea, who ask you to please enjoy that Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly. What are you feeling better or worse about LeBron coming back? There was the picture of him partying at the 330 Club in Akron, which used to be the Tangier. How do you feel about it? And are we overrating the demand for LeBron just because we have a history with him? One big-time NBA writer who's historically known as a hater thinks we might be. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app.
New Game Plus with Oxy
May started. This month, you could get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 2 full years. Visit windownation.com to get the windows featured on HGTV's Designing Spaces. Window Nation, they're the real deal.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Tone. What do you got, Carman?
Stop. How were Bay Days?
You know what? It's a nice little slice of Americana right there on Lake Erie.
Yeah?
They even have old-timey baseball.
The dudes in the hats and the bare hands and the whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Was the umpire wearing the top hat?
Oh, yeah.
Did you stay for a while? Didn't watch that? I'd love to see that.
When it is funny how you have zero tolerance when you have little kids in toddler stage, right?
Yeah.
2 of them. You just 45 minutes seems like 3 hours. So we were in and out. They did the rides. The nice carnival employee let him win some prizes, which was nice.
Dad got to see. I want to see that, and I want to see a Civil War reenactment or a Revolutionary War reenactment. No, I've never seen a reenactment. Kayla's like, you've never seen? No, I've never seen it.
Hale Farm, they do multiple every year. It's not far at all.
Where's Hale
It's
Farm
in
at?
Bath.
Bath, yeah.
Oh, it's in Bath.
It's so fun.
So they had one in Burton a couple of weeks ago, and Dad went. He got a picture with the guy playing Abe Lincoln. Not the real Abe Lincoln, obviously.
No kidding.
That'd be a hell of a story. I don't know if he'd come back to Burton for a reenactment, but you never know. Yeah, he got to see a reenactment. I was like, I want to see a reenactment, and I want to see old-timey baseball is the 2 things of reenactings I'd like to see. Because they had one at Streetsboro City Park like years ago when we first moved to town, and I couldn't go, and I don't think we've ever had one since.
Well, and think about it, like in that type of weather, having to wear all that stuff.
All that wool?
All that wool. Yeah, and I felt bad. I love, Kenny, a good elephant ear. I love it. My wife is disgusted by the notion of it. And I looked at the guy.
Your wife has to live. You're not going to look like me if you have one elephant ear. Is that what she's afraid of?
I don't know.
I know she discusses my health with you.
No,
I know that's been
Kenny.
discussed. Oh, okay, whatever.
So I looked at the guy who obviously was not really doing much of anything, manning the booth for the elephant ears, and I asked him how many he had sold so far that day, and he said 0. So I felt bad. It was just so hot. It was just so hot.
Elephant ears aren't like it's not like you're eating a bowl of chili.
I know,
They're
but
elephant ears. They're not that bad. What are you looking
they're
at? What,
best served
Kayla,
right out of the fryer,
It's
right?
too hot. I don't want to eat anything that's warm. I don't want to eat anything, but if I have to, it would be something cold.
I'll always eat an elephant ear. It's not that bad in the heat.
Not if it's over 90.
Well, you only eat them at the fair. The fair is only happening during the summer. You don't have a winter fair eating elephant ears, do you? Do you? I don't know.
No.
Is there a town that does? And there's like, oh, yeah, we have elephant ears falling out of our pockets. Like, no, you only eat them during the summer. And you should have had an elephant ear. You should have a spite elephant ear.
I got to find another carnival somewhere.
Boy,
and go get
just
one.
wearing the pants over there, she
I
does.
know.
See, the whole birthday month of June. Now you're going to Chris Brown tomorrow, and who Usher. You're going to that. That's even taken later on. Well, jeez.
Yeah, they moved it back. They moved it back an hour and a half.
Poor bastard can't even have an elephant ear. What a marriage you have going on over there, huh?
Yeah, I have a lot of my rights been taken away.
Well, I didn't talk you into doing it.
I need a don't tread on me flag just for my room, for my house.
I'll be up for about 5 minutes until she sees it. All right, Rick Bucher, who's one of the king LeBron haters in history, according to LeBron fans. He doesn't have the very nicest way of putting this, but actually he makes considerable sense when he talks about LeBron coming back to Cleveland.
The Rich Paul propaganda about contacting every team in the league to determine the interest in LeBron is just window dressing. If teams were interested, he wouldn't have to reach out to them. It's a sign that LeBron and Rich are struggling with the new reality, which is that LeBron simply isn't valued the way he once was. He does not have the leverage he once did, which is not an indictment. No one is going to invest in a player who is turning 42 years old next season and comes with all the outsized attention and servicing that LeBron does. The only place that makes any sense is for him to return to Cleveland, where it all began.
So Rich Paul, this is in response. Now, that was Rick Bucher on the Ball podcast with Rick Bucher, because Rich Paul had said that there's 27 teams that have called about LeBron. Rick Bucher's right about GMs and team presidents. Rick Bucher's dead wrong about owners. This is where LeBron still holds the cards. This is where LeBron still has a great deal of people who want to see him. The owners, every single owner, if your GM isn't interested in LeBron and you own an NBA basketball team, if he's not willing to give you any sort of a conversation, that GM needs to be fired. LeBron is a cash cow for the league, for any team that he has.
Well, especially in his final, if it's his final year.
Especially in what could be his final year. So I wouldn't go, hey, you bring him in and you make it happen if I own the Phoenix Suns or whatever, right? It's a long shot. It's a long shot. But you damn well better call. Do you know how much money he can make this team over time? And we're talking about a guy in his last year, possibly in the NBA, or last couple of years in the NBA, a guy who has found a way to ride shotgun next to Luka Doncic, a guy who I never thought was ever going to be able to ride shotgun, has found a way to be in the passenger seat with Luka Doncic, a guy who he probably doesn't care for too terribly much because he's not obsessed with basketball the way LeBron is, it seems. If he was able to do that, what can we do here? You at least need to make that call and see what it is and make some sort of a concerted effort to figure it out. We don't need to let our business out there. If I own the Minnesota Timberwolves, I don't need to be talking about trading away big pieces publicly to be able to bring in LeBron. That's not it. That's not what I'm asking. But you owe it to the business of the game. The owner owns it to himself to have somebody call and make a legitimate play for LeBron. Rick Bucher's right. He's 41 years old. What more could he possibly do? He can rise up and play well every now and then. He can't take over a game every night. Well, he probably could for a few weeks and then he'd gas himself.
Yeah, you wouldn't want him
to
have that kind of a workload
You
anyway.
wouldn't want him doing it. This isn't 25-year-old LeBron James anymore going into his prime. This is a man who has seen it all, played it all, and will probably be ramped up to the postseason at some given point whenever he decides to sign. But I don't believe for a damn second that he doesn't have some sort of a power because you have owners in this league and they know exactly what he means to them.
Yeah, I do. I just think this
maybe I'm being a little bit. I'm being a little crazy. You can call me out on it.
This is far different from the LeBron of the one that came here in 2014. Or the one that went to Los Angeles and won a championship, the bubble title with Anthony Davis. This is a different LeBron. And I think we saw that last year in how he was able, surprisingly, to take a back seat to Luka and even to Austin Reeves. But when those guys went down with injuries and it was, again, LeBron and a mixed nuts cast of characters in the playoffs, he was the best player in a playoff series. Still, at his age, all these years in, with all the mileage and all the playoff minutes added up, one of the most durable athletes we've ever seen in any sport, he was still there. So I question the notion. I've seen some people say, you really want LeBron at this age? I'm like, you just didn't watch him last year then. You didn't. Now, again, regular season.
Well, did you watch the Cavs last year?
He's not going to be playing defense in a regular season. I don't care. It's a regular season. I think we've never seen more of a chasm between the regular season and the playoffs that we've seen the last few years. So it's really, to me, of no consequence if he can't play defense in a regular season.
I fought this for a long time. I know you and I had these discussions a couple of years ago on, is this Cavs team, when they were winning 17 in a row, are they more fun than the 2016 team? And there was some of it where I thought, even though Channing Frye got a hold of it, and I think he kind of misconstrued it a little bit, where it was either him or Richard Jefferson, one of the two. Because I went, this is homegrown. I mean, LeBron came here and everybody else came in. I mean, again, Donovan they traded for, but all the other pieces were homegrown, basically. And it didn't feel like the type of team that it was before. Okay, well, they still lost against the Indiana Pacers. So clearly, I'm the one who's wrong here. I'm definitely wrong. What makes him a good fit, though, isn't just about, when you talk about the age, it's not about the age and people going, really, you want him back at 41 going on 42 years old. No, if you didn't watch LeBron, it's have you watched the Cavs? Because I don't think anybody thinks that this team, as currently constructed, is a championship team. They can, because you've had 8 different ones in the last 8 years, but they are not what you would consider one of the odds-on favorite to win a championship. Again, they came back in a tie for 7th. right after the NBA Finals for best odds to win a championship. And it's not that LeBron guarantees a championship, not by any means necessary, but it makes you feel better about their chance to win one with him than it does without one.
Kenny,
because if you run this back, I've made the argument going, hey, maybe they will run it back, maybe they have to, but I don't know if anybody's really excited for that possibility. I don't think anybody's excited for that possibility.
He didn't guarantee a championship when we first had him. There was no guarantee we were going to win. The second time we had him, there was no guarantee we were going to win. Remember, it was the Warriors that won the 73 games. Like, that was no guarantee. If anybody's looking for a guarantee and you're mad because we can't guarantee that they'd be in the driver's seat, well, then this isn't the sport for you. Go watch it something else, because this isn't for you. I think it's pretty clear that the improbable has been happening more and more in this sport. Nobody thought the Knicks would win a championship. And I went back and listed some of the other titles. The Kawhi-led Raptors. Who had that team winning the championship?
I did not.
The Andrew Wiggins as the second best player on the Warriors the year that they won the championship in 2022. Nobody had that team winning the championship either. Who had Indy poised and ready to win a championship in a Game 7?
Not me.
Just a year and 2 years ago.
The
whatever.
only ones I think you could see happening were Los Angeles because of the bubble, because it was LeBron. We talked about that leading into it, and the other one would probably be OKC with how they had established their nucleus. But I got to tell you, I thought that was maybe a year too soon.
Yeah, and you know what?
Great team.
I've been just as guilty of this in being definitive on a lot of this stuff. We all thought the Boston Celtics, over the last few years, would go a lot further than they did. Oklahoma City last year, who had them losing? I know they had problems with San Antonio in the regular season, but we just thought, all right, Oklahoma City
I thought they would just be back into the finals, and would probably beat whoever came out of the East.
And instead, we had one of the youngest teams in the history of the NBA get to the finals in the San Antonio Spurs. So we've got to stop talking in the declaratives with such certainty. Like, would you be shocked if the Knicks got eliminated early next year? And it only takes one injury, too. Yeah. The injuries play such a huge part of this.
And what you are getting right, and what a lot of people might be, I think it's not lost on people in Cleveland. I do think it's lost nationally. Yeah, there probably would be a better fit in Philly. There would probably be a better fit in Minnesota, a better chance to win a championship. That's why we're talking about those two teams. Minnesota kind of out of nowhere. Philadelphia, because of the move they just made with Jaylen Brown, makes a lot of sense, right? But when it comes to the Cavs, again, I keep bringing up, we don't feel great about this team as is. I don't know how LeBron could hurt that. And we look at this team as a team that probably has to break it up within the next couple of years anyway, because Donovan Mitchell is going to be a $70+ million player. And I don't see a lot of Cavs fans lining up around the block to make sure he's a $70+ million a year player. So this is probably going in a negative direction with or without LeBron after this coming year. So I might as well try to get all my chances going. We know that he's obsessed with it. We know he'll be obsessed with trying to win a championship. We know that if he chooses here, it's not just to take one final bow to the crowd and to have his jersey retired. All these things could possibly happen, but it's not like you're playing on a bad basketball team. So I have a chance to kind of get everybody to fit in with his program, which gives me a better chance than what I've had recently. I mean, frankly, let's call it what it is. People have thought differently about Donovan here over the last couple of years. People have felt differently about Donovan over the last couple of years, with or without Darius Garland. You know they felt some sort of a way about Darius Garland for a while, and then they trade away Darius Garland. People ran away from those opinions that they had. When they fought me on the air tooth and nail about the guy, we brought in James Harden. Clearly, they don't have a lot of excitement over James Harden or a lot of confidence in James Harden. So if not a lot of people have a lot of confidence, I don't understand where he bothers any of it. This isn't 28-year-old LeBron anymore, where you have all this set of circumstances. There's a finite amount of time, and that's with or without him. So you might as well bring him in. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
Brad Evans here to help you beat the Bulls with Westwood One Sports. Bijan Robinson, the best offensive player in the NFL.
Click Grainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You can now watch The Fan live on YouTube. Catch The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima from 6 till 10 a.m. Baskin and Phelps 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. And Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin from 2 to 7 p.m. Each and every weekday. It's free. Subscribe to 92.3 The Fan on YouTube.
We making too much of the series against the White Sox?
Well, what are people making of it?
Well, I think Daryl and Lance talked about it yesterday, which, by the way, Daryl usually shows up on this show on Mondays, but he's off. But Daryl's brought to you by
Scheibman Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Outstanding as always. And we talked a little bit of Guardians earlier. You can use the rewind function on your free Odyssey app, powered by Integrated Restoration, your local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. Well, it is still early July. It was a 4-game series, but the first 2 games, to have a walk-off home run, not just a little boop, just got over. This was a towering moonshot that hit the foul pole, which, man, when you're looking for one to hit the foul pole, I don't know what's more entertaining than a towering moonshot that just hit the foul pole and a walk-off win. It was Rocchio. Everybody loves Rocchio. Self-made. There's very, very little to dislike about Ryan Rocchio there. Like, there's so many guys, like, they come up and you have a little bit of hope for him, and then it just farting out. Rocchio was not a guy like that, and now it's like, man, I don't know what this lineup would do without this guy. And then you had the next night with Khalil Watson, and yeah, I know they lost their last 2 of the series. I get that, and we're still a game behind. But hell, it was fun. Was it not fun? And I thought it was a series that was worthwhile.
Awesome. And, it was a stunner after you win the first 2. You thought, all right, are we going to take 3, or are we going to get the sweep? And then, to have it obviously get even up. And, boy, Tanner Bybee, that was kind of a nightmarish situation yesterday, unfortunately. And I know it was one of those weird games because of the start time and, not that it was marred by rain or whatever, but anytime you take the pitchers out of there.
Anytime you have a Sunday or getaway day game, yeah, you're right. You're not wrong about that. But I mean, they got to play the same. They got to play the same stuff too.
Bybee's given up now 1, 2, 3, 4 straight games. 4 out of 5 he's given up home runs. He gave up 3 yesterday. That Detroit game he gave up 2.
The game before that, you really can't blame Bybee.
Yeah,
and that was the Cooper Ingle play. Mm-hmm. Then Sean Armstrong went out there, and I kind of feel bad for rooting. I'm not rooting against Sean Armstrong, but man, when he comes out, I'm just go, oh God. I'm like, well, someone's got to be that pitcher. It was Eric Plunk back when we were kids, and now I guess it's Sean Armstrong now. No offense, young man.
But it was nice though. I'll tell you, over the weekend too, Jose Ramirez back out there, kind of.
Angel Martinez getting some work in now.
Yeah.
Jose was getting work in.
And that was nice to see because it's like, all right, looks like he could play. Let's go.
Yep. And he's with his team.
We're going to need him.
And this is going to be a big stretch coming up. And we have July. And I don't know if they're going to make it. I heard Daryl screaming about it on Friday about them not making moves. I think he just said he was just going to be not surprised when they say, well, we got Jose Ramirez back. That counts as the quote-unquote trade, which is something they've done in the past. It's a very weird year, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do because you want to have some control for the future, but because we don't know whether or not we're going to have – I mean, what you had people telling you last week that they would be surprised if the season starts on time, and they'd be even surprised if we had baseball in late June next year. That's how much the two sides are digging in on this. So because you don't know, I think it's made some teams a little bit more aggressive. It's made some teams a little bit more aggressive in signing their young guys earlier than later because you want to see how that fits into a quote-unquote cap or floor if that actually goes through, which it might not, probably won't because it just seems to be a good idea. But I do think it tends to lead a team like the Guardians, who are very conservative, to kind of pull back and survey everything and see what they have there. Which, I mean, you have your good and your bad. There's positives and negatives. I mean, guys get signed. We've seen a couple of these guys get signed early, and it kind of goes by the wayside here. But it's just a season for the crying out loud. I think you're betting on the long term when you're making that sort of an investment in a guy. But, I mean, you look at the way some of these guys are. They're playing for teams that aren't necessarily as good as yours. So a conservative team, yeah, I know we mentioned Junior Caminero earlier in this show, and we should be mentioning him. It's a miss. They traded him. It's
insane
a miss.
What he's doing.
There's no way around him. But because of their history, I don't kill them the way I do other teams when they've traded away good players, because they're still in the mix of it. And yeah, I know part of that is still going to be because they're in the AL Central. But historically, they've been better. They'd be better if they still had Junior Caminero, but historically, they've been the better team on most of these things. 216-474-0092. When do you think we might get some news from LeBron?
Well, it depends on who you talk to, because there were staffers that said this was definitely going down yesterday. And so when you start to get worked up over it, we had a caller earlier today and said it'll be on the anniversary of him coming home in 2014, which would be, in 5 days. So that would be 7-11 if the months and days are correct.
Just don't think you do it on a Saturday.
No, I know it's weird, and like today's a World Cup day. I mean, for all the joking,
I don't think you do it today because it's a World Cup. Exactly.
For all the joking about soccer, or whatever.
Could it be seen as un-American? What do you mean all the joking about soccer? You're the one hammering me for not watching the other soccer games yesterday.
I'm just saying, for what we got into it about earlier in the show about how big of a deal soccer is and why isn't Ken watching it and all that. Tonight,
I'm not watching the other soccer. I'm watching Team USA.
Well, tonight is obviously a big, 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 big deal. So. I don't know how much LeBron's been watching of this or cares about this, but I doubt it would be today.
There's a tack to it, isn't it? You don't want to take away any of the fever on American soccer. And if they lose tonight to Belgium, you're going to need a pick-me-up for tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe LeBron makes his decision tomorrow. Or maybe he just waits until the U.S. is out of the World Cup or they win the World Cup. So I think July 19th is the championship match.
That'd be a little tedious for people like us who have to do this for a living. I'll tell you, everywhere I was over the weekend, man, all the anti-LeBron people, I didn't meet one of them. So they're very vocal on the internet. I didn't meet one of them out and about. Really? Everybody was pumped about the prospects of getting LeBron back.
I think I've met a couple of people who are just like ambivalent. Hey, whatever.
Well, I think it's the Cavs getting better, though. You want them to get better. For anybody saying this doesn't make sense, like,
True.
They're clearly a better team with him.
They are. Thanks to Danny Cunningham, who joined us today. He was excellent. We're back tomorrow, 6 to 10. For Big Country, for Kayla, for John, for Jeff, for the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima. I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Team USA. Yeah, Tone.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Americans.
Got a dub.
The Eagles, the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah. Let's get to the Elite Eight.
Thank you for paying attention.
Cleveland! This is for you!
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute